Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be doing a quick overview of my upcoming build. So all these components here around me are the components that are going to go into my final build within a month or so. The reason for that is there's two components missing. One, I still can't make my mind off about that later. Second, it's not available yet because it's been announced. It's going to be released within a couple of weeks from now, but it's not out yet, and I want to see how that pans out. But once again, about that a little bit later. So before all that happens, I wanted to show you what's there on my desk and what's coming to my channel. So all these unboxings, well, most of them, some components I already had before, but pretty much every component is going to have its own unboxing. I'm going to do assembly of all the components, so there'll be a few videos there for those of you who are interested. And I didn't cut any corners getting this PC, so you'll see that components are premium components. They're not too expensive, they're not cheap, and they're built to last, and they're built so you can upgrade them any way you want. So for instance, power supply, this one here, well, this one here is fully modular. Motherboard has quite a few expansions and it's quite fast motherboard. A CPU can be overclocked in case you need a little bit of boost a couple of years later, so you get the point. Anyway, the honorable guest of the show is this thing right here. And this is the Enthoo EVOLV ATX case from Phanteks, Anthracite Gray. I know this is not a new thing on the market. It's been out there for a while. It's been getting a lot of favorite recommendations and a lot of very good reviews. And from what I've seen so far, it's an amazing case. So thumbs up from me straight away. Obviously, we're going to be doing an unboxing and all that, but I was very eager to get it. And I have actually waited a month to get this particular case because in Europe, in pretty much every shop, I could not get that particular case in that particular color. It was unavailable, out of stock. And yeah, that's that. So the first website, I suppose, or first retailer that had it, I got it from them. I got it delivered straight away to my work, brought it home, and here it is. And the retailer, by the way, was caseking.de for those who are interested. So big thumbs up for these guys because they made it possible. They were the first in Europe at this particular moment who got this particular case in this particular color, and I was able to get it from them in a perfect shape, well boxed and packaged and all that. And the box is huge, by the way, guys. Anyway, enough about the case. But it's very important because this particular case obviously will be where all these components will go. And it's important to have a good case for your PC, especially when I decided to have the components that I really want. The component that's going to be powering all the other things that you see on the table is this particular device here, which is Seasonic SS-660XP2, or simply 660 watt fully modular platinum power supply. Platinum simply means that it's very efficient. Fully modular means that you can disconnect all the cables and have just whatever cables you want and you need without all this clutter. So thumbs up for that. The component that's going to house all the other things is the motherboard here, which is ASUS MAXIMUS 8 Hero Alpha. Now, the MAXIMUS 8 Hero model was out there on the market for quite a while, MAXIMUS 8 Hero, but this one Alpha is slightly different and there's few features added, and one of them notably is the RGB function. So it means you can have these RGB strips, which are very inexpensive. You can buy them on eBay and buy them now, especially if you want to build the PC in the future, because it might take you up to a month to get it from China or whatever you're ordering them from. But yeah, you can have the RGB strips in your PC and you can have various controls. We're going to talk about that later when I'm going to be doing an unboxing and installation of this particular motherboard. So great motherboard. Great overclocking potential, great audio, great LAN. It has a Wi-Fi as well, which is good because I'm renting at the moment. I cannot wire cables everywhere, so Wi-Fi is essential and I need a fast Wi-Fi. Next component there is, I suppose, the CPU, which is Intel i7-6700K, which is 4 cores, 8 threads, fully unlocked, so overclockable CPU, as I mentioned before. In case I want to go fast in the future, I have the potential there. And I have the cooling solution for that, which is right this bad boy here, which is Noctua NH-U14S. Now, this is not a dual tower cooling solution. It's a one tower CPU cooler, and it's from Noctua, which is a big thumbs up. These guys are pretty much the best when it comes to air cooling. And it comes included with a single 140mm fan. Now guys, for those of you who go there for dual tower, dual fan or triple fan setup just because you can, you don't really need that. I'm not going to be overclocking this bad boy too much, if at all. All I want is low temperatures on idle and especially on the load. And this is gonna do me just fine. Having single tower versus dual tower, not a huge difference. And having single fan versus double fan or even triple fan, also not a huge difference in temperatures, especially when it comes to air cooling. So I might as well go with this one. It's not as heavy as dual tower, it's not as big, and it's not as expensive, and it will do me just fine. Next thing I suppose would be the RAM modules here. So Fury X, Kingston Fury X. Nothing special, DDR modules, two 8GB sticks. I got two of them, so there's 32GB of DDR4 memory, clocked at 2400 megahertz. RAM is one of these components which doesn't really matter, especially for those of us who use computer for general use, so for browsing internet, for doing some video encoding, decoding, and video production, some photo editing, some 3D work, some gaming. All these are very demanding tasks for your PC, but RAM doesn't really matter. If you have a lot of RAM, great. If you have DDR4 RAM, great. Whether you have 133 or 3000 megahertz RAM, it's not going to be a huge jump, not as huge as getting a better CPU, for instance, or better graphics card. So for that reason, I don't really care much. Kingston is a great supplier for RAM. They are reliable, their warranty is top notch, and compatibility is great. That's why I went with them. And this particular Fury X HyperX RAM modules actually look quite great. And yeah, that's it. So that's RAM. Next, I got this bad boy here, which is Samsung 950 Pro 256, because that's enough. I have NAS drive and I have other storage types that I can use for storing my pictures and whatnot. But the most important thing about this particular device here is that it's NVMe. What that means is I can plug it into the motherboard using M.2 slot, and I can use, I think, up to 1500 megabytes per second read and write, which is 3 times faster than any SSD on the market, period. Unless obviously you're talking non-SATA SSDs, which is PCI Express, which is pretty much what it is, or other M.2 SSDs. But when it comes to affordable, really fast storage solution, this should be your biggest friend. And I suppose I should sum it up with two components here. Now, I didn't originally want to go with Logitech simply because they are too expensive for my pocket. I would have gone with Corsair. I don't really like Corsair too much. I just simply don't like them. There's no particular reason. Their support is great. They have a great warranty. Build quality is okay. And the pricing is affordable for the most part. So Corsair is okay when it comes to most components. And especially for keyboard and mice, because I had them before and they were fine. No issues there. However, these two bad boys I got for the price of the keyboard alone. Actually less than price of the keyboard alone, because there was a deal on Amazon and I snatched that deal like nobody's business. And I got both of them, so keyboard and mouse, for less than the price of this Logitech keyboard. Now, what's unusual about them? These are Logitech G810 Orion Spectrum RGB keyboard, so fully RGB. And this is proper RGB, not like the one I had on Corsair keyboard, inexpensive, I should say, Corsair keyboard before. This is the LED like it should be, and you'll see that when I'm going to be doing an unboxing and overview of the keyboard and mouse. And the same for the mouse. This is Logitech G502 PROTEUS Spectrum RGB mouse. So they're both RGB devices. They both from the brand, well, reasonably new series of their gaming products. And what's more important is this keyboard right here is mechanical keyboard using their Roma G switches. So this is my first mechanical keyboard ever. So as I said, guys, remember in the video, these are the components, all of them here, the components that I really wanted to get, and I got them. So yeah, so that's that. Now, there's two things missing, and one thing I didn't mention, sorry about that. So this is a SteelSeries QCK ProGaming mousepad, 320 by 270 mil or 12 by 6 by 10 by 6 inches. Great mousepad, inexpensive, and yeah, so a huge thumbs up for the mousepad. It works just as advertised. It's inexpensive, easy to get pretty much anywhere you want. And I used it before, and I'm using it now. And well, I will be using it now when I'm gonna assemble this PC. So yeah, that's the final bit of what's on the desk. One thing I should mention is the items that I didn't mention, which are the two items. One is the monitor. There's no monitor here. The reason for that is I haven't quite decided for what to go for. Now, I will go for a 1440p monitor, 16 by 9 or 16 by 10, probably 16 by 9, 1440p monitor, which I believe is commonly called as a 2K monitor. I haven't decided really what to go for yet. The prices are slightly going down at the moment, and I want to wait a little bit, especially because there's no GPU at the moment, which is the second thing that's missing. And the reason it's missing is because NVIDIA has announced their 1080 and 1070 GPUs just recently, which was like a week back, which are amazing GPUs. But here's the problem. They're not out yet. They're going to be mad expensive when they come out, and availability is going to be pretty much like this case was about a month ago. So I will wait a couple weeks, during which time I will go on holidays. I will do unboxings and overviews of all these things here, and I'm going to do most of the PC assembly and going to decide what monitor to choose. So I'm going to do all these four things until the GPU comes out, which is probably going to be 1080 what I'm going for. Not sure. Especially because of the pricing, what game's going to be bundled, what availability is going to be like, and what our reviews when it comes out finally going to be like. Maybe there's going to be some issues with that GPU, you never know. So I'm going to wait for that 2-3 weeks, and then there's going to be a full assembly video of all these components. We're going to do testing and everything. Happy days. So that's that, guys. I don't know if that's the type of video that you want to see, especially since there's two components which are the major components missing. And especially since there's AMD around the corner announcing their new graphics cards, which are very capable graphics cards. And guys, I'm not AMD fan, I'm not NVIDIA fan. I get what I want and what I think that fits my budget and fits my needs, which at the moment has been NVIDIA for most part. However, AMD is releasing graphics cards which are not the most powerful graphics cards, but they are great for your wallet, which is always a big plus in my book. And we're going to see what's going to come out from AMD, from NVIDIA. So I'm going to give it a couple weeks, let it all settle down, let all these things be announced, released, and stocked on the shelves, so I can finally choose what to get. So yeah, that's the video so far. Let me know what you think about this type of format, if you're interested at all to see what's coming up on the channel. Thanks for watching. Any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. And as always, have a nice day. See you soon.